They say justice is blind, but what happens when the truth is staring us right in the face and still no one can agree on what it is? What happens when a woman dies, a family points a finger, and the police? Well, the police do what the police actually do. On one side, a dowry murder, on the other, a gas cylinder blast, and somewhere in the middle of this chaos is a man shot in the leg. This is the story of Behind the Headlines. Hello everyone, I am Anamika and welcome back to the channel where we don't just report the news. We rip it apart and question every single piece. Because today, we are dissecting a case that has got more plot twist than a TV show finale. The tragic, infuriating and utterly baffling case of Nikki Bhati. You all must have seen the headlines. You must have heard the sound bites. Dowry murder, women burnt alive, and husband shot in encounter. Sounds like an open and shut case, isn't it? The villains are clear, the victim is clear, but as always, it's not that simple case. This case is a hall of mirrors, where every piece of evidence reflects a very different story. The evidence seems to be living in a parallel universe. So let's stop taking the headlines at face value and start breaking down the truth behind the story. Alright, let's start with the official narrative, the one that got 4 people arrested. This is what Nikki's family, specifically her sister Kanchan, is alleging. But before we get into the tragedy, let's meet the people at the center of the story. First, there's Nikki Bhati, the young woman who lost her life. Then there's her husband Vipin Bhati, the main accused. We also have his family, Daya, his mother, Satvir, his father, and Rohit, his very own brother. And finally, there's Nikki's sister, Kanchan, who is at the heart of this prosecution's case. It all began in 2016 with a seemingly perfect plan. Both Nikki and Kanchan were married into the same household on the very same day. What was supposed to be a double celebration of love turned into a double-sized nightmare. Because according to the family, the promise of a shared future quickly became a cold and transactional one. The allegation is that what started off as a marriage ended in a cold-blooded dowry murder. The motive? Simple. Ugly greed. The family claims that a year after the wedding, the demands began. But it wasn't a small request. They were allegedly pressured to pay a staggering rupees 36 lakh and a luxury car after having already given a Scorpio and gold. So much for love and marriage when it all just boils down to a bank account balance.
फादर ने अपने अकॉर्डिंग जो भी उनसे बना स्कॉर्पियो टॉप मॉडल 2016 नोटबंदी में शादी हुई थी उसके दौरान हमारे पिताजी से जितना बन पाया कैश गोल्ड सिल्वर सब कुछ उन्होंने दिया.
This is not a story of what might have happened. This is an official allegation with proofs. And they didn't just come up with accusations, they came with evidence. Evidence that on the surface seems overwhelming. Let's dig into that proof. Nikki's sister Kanchan claims that she was there in the house and saw the whole thing unfold. She's the star witness and alleges her sister was beaten, doused with kerosene by the mother-in-law Daya, and then set on fire by the husband Vipin. This is a direct, horrifying accusation. And to make it worse, the family has brought out 2 crucial pieces of video evidence. A clip allegedly showing Vipin violently dragging Nikki by her hair, and another, a short terrifying video that shows Nikki herself engulfed in flames stumbling down a staircase. This is not a scene from a movie. This is a brutal reality. And to top it all off, the couple's 5-year-old son reportedly told the police that he saw his mother subjected to violence. He saw they poured out some liquid on her and was then set on fire by a lighter. From the family's perspective, this is a clear-cut dowry murder. But we'll find it out that this is only half of the story.
मम्मा के ऊपर पहले कुछ डाला, फिर मम्मा को चाटा मारा, फिर लाइटर से आग लगा दी थी.
Just when you think that you have figured out the villains in this story, the defense steps up, looks straight into your eye, and tells you that everything you just heard is a lie. That Nikki Bhati's death was not a murder, that it was a tragic accident caused by a gas cylinder blast. And to prove it, they came up with evidence so contradictory that it will make your head spin. Let's start with the most crucial piece of their narrative, the dying declaration. In the final painful moments of her life, a memo from the Fortis hospital where Nikki was allegedly treated states that she herself told the doctors and nurses that she was injured in a gas cylinder explosion. This is not a rumor. This is a direct recorded statement from the very victim. It directly contradicts the sister's chilling account. So, who do we believe here? A sister with a motive for revenge, or the victim herself in her final moments? And the inconsistencies doesn't stop here. The accused have produced a CCTV footage from the shop across their street of their home. They claim it shows Vipin Bhati standing outside the house at the exact same time of the incident. If this is true, how could he have been inside dousing his wife with kerosene? This is the very foundation of the accused alibi. Was he outside the house? Or is this footage a part of an elaborated frame up? We don't have all the answers, but it's a hell of a question to ask. But perhaps the most chilling piece of puzzle is a tiny detail from the video Kanchan allegedly recorded. A voice in the background saying something that changes everything. And this is where we have to get into the language of truth. In the video, a woman's voice is heard asking, "Ye kya kar liya?" which translates to, "What have you done?" This is a direct question implying that a deliberate action was taken by the person she's addressing to. It's a question of blame. Now, if this was truly a gas cylinder accident, wouldn't the question be, "Ye kya hua?" which translates to "What happened?" The difference between "what have you done" and "what happened" is the difference between an accusation of self-harm and a question about an accident. It's a very small, tiny detail, but it speaks volumes about what those present at the scene may have truly believed. And finally, in a bizarre and unexpected twist, our sister-in-law, who is married to Nikki's brother, has come forward to claim that Nikki's family also have harassed her for dowry.
दहेज के लिए भी पीटते थे, कहते थे कि चली जाए यहाँ से, हम अपने भाई की दूसरी शादी करेंगे, तू हमें पसंद नहीं है, ये कहकर पीटते थे मुझे.
She claims that Vipin loved Nikki and would never harm her. This adds a new layer of complexity to the case and forces us to question if either the family completely are trustworthy or not. Is this a desperate attempt to shift the blame, or is there any deep-seated hypocrisy at play? This brings us to the most important character in this entire tragedy, the police. Their job is to find the truth, to connect the dots, but in this case, the dots look like a random sprinkle of paint on a canvas. So what exactly have they been doing? Let's start with a theoretical masterpiece, the encounter. Just days after Nikki's father publicly called for an encounter and for the family's home to be bulldozed, the police shot Vipin Bhati, the main accused, in the leg. The official story? He was trying to escape custody. Yeah, sure. The timing of this little drama, or shall I say perfect convenient. It's a classic example of what a police fixer does. They deliver a swift, satisfying and very public spectacle of justice just to appease an angry mob, without having to go through all the messy details of an actual trial. It makes for a great headline, but does it get us any closer to the truth? Let's forget about the police reports and forensic tests for a moment, because in this case, the ugliest truth didn't came from the courtroom. They came from the neighbors standing right outside the house. This is a story that goes beyond a single family. It's a mirror reflecting the twisted mind of our society. The same society that claims to be moral and righteous, yet holds its women accountable for everything, from their clothes to their social media feeds. So what did the neighbors have to say? They are the people who live and breathe in the same environment, and their remarks are nothing short of shocking. On one hand, you have some of them who claim that they have heard frequent fights and arguments and painting a clear picture about domestic distress. But on the other hand, you have those who, in the middle of a tragedy, offered a third, even more unsettling theory. They claim that it was not a dowry murder and it was not also an accident. Instead, they believe it was a calculated plan of both the sister to frame the husband weapon. Yes,
फंक्शन में आग
you
लगाई
heard
यार
that.
पहले तो उसने कहा थोड़ी आग लगा ले कुछ नहीं होगा ये डराएंगे ही नहीं
अच्छा ऐसा था क्या?
ऐसा है ये
अच्छा
कि इन्हें डराएंगे थोड़ी बहुत आग लगा ले और जो सही हो जाएगी
Yes, you heard that right. According to them, the sisters just wanted to set Nikki on fire and blame it all onto the husband weapon. But the fire simply got out of hand. They say it was a desperate gamble, a dramatic ploy to get out of the toxic marriage that went horribly wrong. As a proof of their own, some of the neighbors claim that they have seen Vipin immediately rushing Nikki to the hospital, an act that would have proven his innocence and directly contradict the family's story that they left her to die there.
एक सामाजिक परिवार की औरत इंस्टाग्राम चलाएगी तो उसके परिवार वाले क्या ऐतराज नहीं ठानेंगे?
वो रील चला रही छोटे कपड़े हैं या किसी गैर मर्द के साथ हैं.
This narrative is a chilling reminder that in our society, even after death, a woman's character is put on trial. The same people who might have witnessed her misery chose to talk about her lifestyle, questioning how she could be so modern, how she was so active on Instagram, and how she used to make reels. In their mind, her audacity to live on her own terms was the reason why she died. This is a tragic hypocrisy that we live in with every day, where the victim is blamed not just for what happened to her, but for the person she chose to be. We have spent the last 10 minutes picking apart a tragedy, but we have barely scratched the surface of the rot that allowed it to happen. Because the Nikki Bhati case is a chilling reflection of our society's ugliest truth, and it forces us to ask some uncomfortable questions. Let's be blunt, dowry isn't just a tradition, it's a death sentence. The numbers are staggering. On an average, a woman dies every hour in India over dowry. But here's the kicker. In a world of social media, this crime isn't hidden, it's glorified. You must have seen the viral reel, the video where a seemingly modern mother talks with her son, who says he can earn himself and doesn't need dowry, and what does she say in reply? You wanna hear that? She laughs and says, "Oh, so the girls want a rich husband, but I can't demand for a rich daughter-in-law." She said that she can also earn, but she still wants dowry.
पता है लड़कियों को पसंद नहीं है क्यों? वो बोलती है कि भाई दहेज की बातें कर रहे हो आप, शर्म ही नहीं है, बेशर्म से दहेज की बातें कर रहे हो.
तुमको अमीर लड़का चाहिए, अब हमने अमीर बहू की डिमांड कर दी तो तुमको मिर्ची लग गई. तुमको अमीर चाहिए, कार बंगला पैसे वाला अच्छी जॉब, सास भी कुछ नहीं बोले ससुर भी कुछ नहीं बोले, फ्रीडम फुल, छोटे कपड़े, क्लब, दारू बियर सब चाहिए. हमने डिमांड कर लिया अमीर बहू की तो हम गंदे हो गए, दहेज बो दिया तुमने. चला.
That statement, a casual line in a viral video, shows us everything we need to know. It proves us that dowry isn't a crime people hide. It's a right they demand. It's a toxic mindset that's so deeply engraved that even a woman active on social media with openly mindset admits to it. We have a family that's alleging dowry murder while simultaneously being accused by their own daughter-in-law of dowry harassment. It's a full circle of nightmare. It shows that the line between victim and perpetrator is so blurred that it might not even exist. So where does that leave us? With a lot of questions, a lot of anger, and a very few definitive answers. This case is a chilling reminder of how easily the truth can be distorted when a story is more concerned with the narrative than with what actually happened. The Nikki Bhati case is not just a tragedy, it's a call to action. It's a challenge to all of us to look beyond the headlines, to question every single detail, and to demand more than just a convenient story from the people in power. What are your thoughts on this complex case? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're as fed up with incomplete stories as I am, Don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone who needs to hear this, and hit that subscribe button to more breakdowns. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay critical, and keep questioning everything.